welcome to Saving People Queering Things, the supernatural podcast where apparently clowns kill again.
What is this, 2016?
Again. Poor Sammy. Today we are pulling up to Season 7, Episode 14, Plucky Pennywhistles Magical Menagerie. Ooh. I'm your host, Sam. My pronouns are they, them.
I'm August, and my pronouns are also they, them.
I'm Noah. Pronouns he, him.
What's up? I'm Hana. Pronouns he, they, them.
And I'm Theo. Any/all pronouns.
It's so nice to have you both back.
Yay! We love the sibling episodes.
The sibling episodes are some of the most fun ones out there, honestly.
Yeah, if you're listening and you haven't heard the earlier editions of this concept, this is the episode where we invite some of our many siblings. If we had all of our many siblings, there'd be too many.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Too many. But so we got some of us.
Yeah. Well, the question of the day I have for all of you is, what is your childhood fear, or what would you have drawn on your placemat if you had gone to Plucky Pennywhistles?
Oh, shit.
Like if you were a child at Plucky Pennywhistles.
If you were a child, not now.
Oh my
I
god.
mean, you could do now also.
My dad let me watch The Princess Bride
You're always expecting to be a very different movie than
at 4 years old.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
While my mom was on a trip. It might have been 6. Either one is too young. And that night, tucking me into bed, like I was fine about it all day. And he was tucking me in bed, and I was like, "Hey, Dad." He was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Are ROUSs, rodents of unusual size, real?" And he was like, "No, honey." And I was like, "I think they are." And I then had a 2-year period where every single night I was afraid that a rat was going to chew through the wall and kill me. And when my mom got home, she was so fucking pissed off at my father. It was unspeakable. She was like, "I told you not to do this. And as soon as I was out of the house, you did it. And now we're reaping the consequences."
And now every night.
And unfortunately, my dad is chronically honest. And so I was like, "Can rats chew through walls?" And he was like, "Yeah,
Yes.
Actually they can. Like they can do that."
No.
Rats can't, but they're not going to. And I was like, "It's too
that's
late."
because that makes the child feel better.
It is, I think, exactly where I get that. Anyway, I think that would have killed me.
Yeah. Just a rat chewing through the wall.
It
That's
wouldn't
rough.
have killed you. It probably would have gone for dad. Right? That's the whole message of this episode, is that it goes after the parents.
That's true.
In my heart, it would have gotten us both. I'm not gonna lie to you. Down the line, it's coming for me anyway.
So
This made me a little twitchy. I can feel it like in the base of my spine a little bit. I'm like, God, one of these
I
days.
don't want to remember this. Are you able to watch that movie? Was that movie ruined for you?
Oh, absolutely not. One of my favorite movies.
That's what I thought.
Chronically recommend this shit to people.
But I'm surprised I've never heard this story before.
I am too, honestly. Yeah, I don't know. Like the
never
movie,
come up.
The movie itself, actually, even at that point, was not ruined for me. I was like, that is still a good movie. I enjoyed the movie. Thank you so much, Dad. I just also, in addition, am convinced it's going to kill me. They felt like separate but related things.
I think, okay, not to rag on Hannah a little bit more, but I think when I was real young, like if we're talking 4 or 5, maybe even 6, my thing that I would have drawn on there is Hannah Beth with like huge eyes, because Hannah at one point had night terrors as a kid. And there was one time that I woke up seeing Hannah like freak out and like walk outside. And I remember the stuff that she was saying was just so buck ass crazy. And I was like we were walking in the middle of the night out into the rest of this summer camp that we lived on. And I was just so scared. But I was like, she's gonna get hurt. Like, where's she going? I have to follow her because like she doesn't seem to be in control of herself right now. I need to help. How do I help? And I would ask Hannah, and Hannah would say like, "The stars are coming for us." And I saw him like,
My parents thought I was possessed.
Yeah.
They did not speak to a medical professional about this for years because they just blanket assumed I was possessed by a demon.
They didn't. Did they do anything about that?
Eventually,
no. Put me in the same room as her.
Not that I know of.
Because I was like, in our kinds of the environments that we grew up in, usually like demon possession is something that you do stuff about.
Yeah, you would like
actually
go to
in our denomination, there is no talk about that.
like
There's no. I've
you
never heard anybody doing something
lock
like
them
that.
in the basement and hope that it works itself out.
You're
But
just
now
like,
I'm
you're just like, I
curious.
guess there's a demon. I guess we just wait.
I'm just visited every so often. And then they eventually were like talk probably in like some Bible study or something, like, yeah, we're like struggling with this. And some person was like, that's a medical condition called night terrors. You should talk to your doctor. And the doctor can't do anything about it. They just
Thank God
They're
for
just
that.
gonna
if
say-
you play Handel's water music is at a very specific BPM that actually like soothes your brain waves or what the fuck ever. So if they played that while I went to sleep, I was less likely to have them. And the doctor was
Right,
like, don't
it
worry,
regulated your
she'll-
brain.
Yeah, the doctor was like, don't worry, they'll outgrow it at 7. And I had them until I was 13.
Yeah, that's really long.
That's
'Cause,
really
everyone.
long.
They are more common in people with neurodivergence, like
Ooh,
other
I
types of
also
sleep
had,
disorders.
I also had night terrors, and I actually do think I was maybe also older than 7. Now that I'm thinking about it,
Yeah, you were.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Second
the
siblings in the
that
chat are like,
remember.
hey.
Like, I don't
Like, hey, that
remember
shit
a lot
was
of
scary,
what was
huh?
that out.
Fuck. So I don't think it would have been, anything really intense or whatnot, but that was probably
that's
the
a little
scariest
intense.
experience I had as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, real.
Yeah. Love you, Hannah. Glad you made it through. And that possession, left you. Cross yourself. If it wasn't that, it'd be cows. Anyway, who's next?
It'd be what?
Cows.
I don't like
Okay.
cows.
And John Mulaney, we don't have time to unpack all of that.
Yeah, I think we might. I think that might be. I think
We're
Noah's
just gonna
shared.
move on.
We'll come
That's
back to
some
that one.
Noah lore for next episode.
You know,
There you
Or
go.
yeah.
further
There'll be
down.
another opportunity.
We'll
We'll get another
follow up.
opportunity to talk about nightmares. We're on this show.
episode.
I often had nightmares, and the funny thing is I don't remember any of the nightmares, but then I would go to my parents' room and I had this huge fear because our bedrooms were like on one side of up the stairs. One side of the hallway were the kids' bedrooms, on the other side was our parents' bedroom, and then in the middle there was like a long staircase going downstairs, and it was always like really dark. So I would have to pass the dark staircase on my way to my parents' room to get comfort from my nightmare. And I don't ever remember the nightmares that I have, but I remember being like, something's coming up the stairs for me.
I'm pretty sure I walked
And I would
you
like
down
knock
that
on the door and be like,
hallway.
answer quickly.
I'm pretty sure I walked you down that hallway sometimes.
Yeah, probably.
So that you could get to their bedroom.
Fair. Yeah.
It was a very dark and scary
Dark
hallway.
down there. You didn't know what was coming for you. Yeah, so I would probably draw a picture of a hallway. Which would also be like, wow, scary.
Anything can come out of that.
Okay, but wait,
Anything.
what would the hallway killer look like?
How would you
I
actually
actually
die?
often it was either giant bugs or like a moose.
Fair.
That's so
Look at
Canadian of you.
Canadian.
Like
Straight
a
up
giant. Do you know how big
They
I'm
are
fucking huge.
terrifying.
And you
I
are
get
told
it.
that as a Canadian child, like they really impress upon you how
You're
big. Like if you
huge.
don't live in an area where you actually do see
They are
moose,
very big and
they
scary.
impress on you how big
Yeah.
they are.
That's
They're
fair.
like,
Imagine
no,
them
don't think that
coming
they're
up the
cute.
stairs.
They're massive. They will kill you.
No, that is nightmarish. I don't like conceptualizing that. And also, no fucking way would 5-year-old me have even thought of that. I was
Mhm.
on rats and you were on moose. That is very regional specific.
At least it wasn't coyotes, Hannah. You've got, there's
Nah,
some
they don't
pros.
scare me.
Nah.
Damn. All right, Sam's real for
Coyotes
that
is
one.
so much more scary than rats.
One of them is 10 feet tall and could trample anyone. Like,
You guys,
the plague.
you guys haven't even
oh,
seen.
shit.
You had to be there. It was a 4-minute moment.
I get it.
Theo, August, what have you guys got?
I had this nightmare that is going to sound really boring, but is a look right into my psyche.
Yes.
I had this nightmare that was about like there being too much to do and like the panic of like never catching up, and it was just a nightmare where I would never catch up to what again.
That is the most August.
Noah and Hannah did the same thing.
It's the most
Theo is
August.
nodding.
I
It was a recurring nightmare. It was the scariest nightmare I've ever had in my life. It was recurring.
Sometimes I have a friend, right, who every time he has a weird dream, texts me a summary and I return the favor. We do not text other than this. We just send each other weird dream summaries and half the time don't respond.
Dream friend.
Connor.
Okay.
Vegan commune spinoff.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
And sometimes like I'm reading these dreams and I feel like I get a little peek into like what's going on in there and like things are like ways that he like approaches the world and like ways I get the little like, oh my God, I could like interpret people's dreams. Like I could do that. That was the most straightforward ass. Like, I wonder what this dream means. Like I'm reading a dream journal. If you sent me this text somewhere, you're like, oh my God, Hannah, I had this dream. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This job is irrelevant. That one was so straightforward.
There's no metaphor in that dream. It's just exactly what it is. And I had that dream for the first time in probably like middle school.
Oh my God.
And then I had it recurring.
Someone give you a hug.
Yeah. I was like, these neuroses, this panic.
Middle school was rough.
This panic disorder was early. In my life.
Early onset. Yeah.
Early onset. Every once in a while I will have like still have variations of this dream when I'm really stressed. They've just updated now to be more like
relevant
and specific. So now they're usually about teaching. But they're the same theme.
Every kid puts their hands up at the same time and is handing you homework to grade, and you're like, oh shit, fuck. I'm a homeschooler. Sorry, I don't know. Anyway,
all of the homeschoolers here.
Well, so I was trying to come up with something that wasn't the reoccurring nightmares I had because they were also very psychologically very clear.
No, don't hold back.
But now I feel I must.
We've all been vulnerable. I was gonna say, you share what you feel good about sharing, but everyone else is gonna bully you into sharing.
No, don't listen to the people you're not related to.
Yeah. You can listen to Sam. Sam's on our page.
Public podcast.
I'm okay telling about it. I just was like, oh, what would I draw? Because I wouldn't be able to draw that. So I don't know. The point is I had these reoccurring nightmares. Also probably starting like 7, 8, 9, I remember having these dreams where it was like a first person point of view. And all I know is I was picking up these little like pieces or like trash or something off the ground. And I was taking my time with it so slowly because I didn't want to do something wrong. And once I got to 100, then like everything shifted and it was this really like metaphysical, and then everything turned into perfect prisms, and then it had to stay perfect the rest of the time or else everyone would die. Like,
can I get some bitches in some chat for respect and fewer responsibilities?
I got so upset at like having to keep everything perfect that I woke up and was like freaking out and would be sweating and like
So, hey guys, let's cancel the rest of the episode and let's just talk about our childhoods and like how our parents might have affected us in certain ways.
Like I've had that dream at least once a year until like 17, and I've had it recently again, but like
no.
But I draw is hands sticking out from under the stairs because that's my I cannot with people reaching under stairs and grabbing me that I don't expect. I can't.
That was like 60-0.
I did not like going into our basement for that reason because we had stairs that had like you could theoretically reach up, and I never went down there in the dark.
So what I'm hearing as Theo's older brother, next time I come to visit as a surprise, I'm gonna hide under the stairs.
You'll die. I'm guaranteeing you will get head trauma.
I'm only hearing pros. What are you talking about?
I'm not involved in this.
I'm saying I'm not joking, and if somebody grabs me from under stairs, I'm picking their head out.
Okay, wait.
Right. There will be violence.
Side note.
Well, back on track. It is time to catch you up. If you haven't watched Supernatural recently, here's what you've missed on the road so far. Did we ask people about this, or we're just throwing it in?
Yeah, we did.
Hannah does not look like we asked.
Wait, sorry.
Hannah has been here before and knows how the recap works.
I do.
Of the episode, that seems fair. I feel like...
Theo, are you good with recapping the show?
Yeah, they are. See how they're not saying anything against it?
See how I asked them and not you?
Who am I talking?
Is your name Theo?
Depends on the day.
I can recap it, just not well, because I don't remember what's happened recently.
Fine. I remember what's happening, and I still don't recap.
As long as you try not to recap something Noah hasn't seen yet.
That's what I don't know. Like,
Right.
I know
Charlie's not here yet.
I don't know when that is. Like,
I don't think she is familiar enough with Supernatural that's
9 through 7 are like blah, blah, blah.
Well, you could stick to stuff before season 7.
That seems wise.
All
Actually,
you need to mention in 7 is
we're in 7.
Is what?
We're in 7.
Leviathans. Okay, maybe just steer clear of that topic entirely. I guess.
Listen, I just know that Castiel is here.
And
correct,
gone.
yeah.
He's gone
He
right
has
now.
shown up before.
Yeah, and now he's dead.
yeah, but he's
Now
dead.
he's gone.
He's dead right
He's
now.
dead.
When? When was that?
Season 7, episode 1.
I believe you. I think you can do it.
Is Sam has a soul now, right?
Yeah, that was season 6.
Okay.
All right. First up, Theo is going to recap the show up until this point. Are you ready?
More or less.
In one way or another.
All right.
Some things from the show, possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly.
I'm going to talk about the show.
You might be talking about a completely different show. Who fucking knows?
Who knows?
Jacob came on one time and gave us the recap for
I don't even know
2.5 Men.
what it was. Yes,
it was
that's what it was.
the summary of the show. Not even like a plot specific. He just read us the description. It was great.
All right. Ready?
Ready.
3, 2, 1, go.
So it's the story of Dean and Sam, brothers, hunters of the supernatural. It's been a couple seasons of wacky hijinks. Recently, Angel Castiel showed up. He died. He fucking died. And now it's like monster of the week stuff. Sam has a soul. And they don't know dick about Dick.
Bobby
did die.
Oh,
Thanks,
God.
Noah. Okay.
Good job.
Woo, good job. Sorry, our last show recap didn't include Bobby dying, and so I couldn't let that happen 2 weeks in a row.
That was really
I was hosting, so
well, you could do it this week when I want to.
yeah, you're right.
It's more fun to voice it off on guests.
Yeah.
Yeah,
August
we
is
have to
right.
do it all the time.
I did it last week. I understand.
On
All
the
right.
other show.
It's like, you have a recap on your other show?
Yeah. Wait,
track
we'll get it. Yeah, sorry, we do. We do 20-second
Sorry.
recaps for every one of the 5
Every-
episodes that we do.
Like 2 minutes. We're like,
I'm going to talk about this episode somehow. This is why we don't choose a very plot-heavy episode.
Clinically diagnosed
also,
with
this is why sibling
same
episodes
topic,
are like
yeah.
an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
But everyone
don't
loves them.
Episode until like an hour in.
Sure, they do really well.
Now it is Hannah's turn to recap this week's episode. Are you ready, Hannah?
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Have you ever been haunted by your childhood fears? Has something terrible ever happened to your parents? Have you been afraid that it would? Wished that it would? In this week's episode, that's exactly what we encounter. Sam and Dean encountering child's psychological fears manifesting and going after their parent. In a very Five Nights at Freddy's kind of style, relevant, terrible entity. Noah's distracting me with a funny thing. That feels rude. Also clowns.
I'll give you an extra 6 seconds. An extra 6 seconds.
I can't recover
Oscar
something that's
speech
been
known.
lost. That's not how I operate.
Okay.
I stand by it.
Wait, okay. To be fair, it wasn't my fault because Theo started fake.
You can just take it, bro. You can just take the L.
yeah, it was my fault. Sure, I
L
sent the
plus
message.
ratio.
It was a group
But-
effort, and I'm proud of what we created
Hannah,
together.
I'm trying to balance it out because we can now make Theo beatbox for 25 seconds, and then I'll put them over each other so everybody knows that Theo was beatboxing over Hannah's recap.
There we go. Can we just get like a 5? Can we get a 2.5 second clip, and then we will expand that out 10 times. So it has to be looping.
Wait, let's do 4 second because I think that's a little bit easier to have more variation in.
All right, Theo,
Okay.
you ready?
I'm just gonna count it on my finger. You ready? I hate that you're still doing it silent. Hate that so much.
You're like, try.
Sam has to go somewhere.
Silent.
Give us 2 sounds.
3, please. Okay, that's 1. That was 1 sound.
I was doing it silent for a reason. I don't know what you want from me.
Give me 1 more, please. Just 2. I'm sorry.
Rock.
That's copyrighted. We can't use that.
Rocks is copyrighted.
Rocks.
I don't think so.
What's rock?
Good. Sam and I are
Oh,
having the same
Sam.
moment.
Wait,
Like,
Dungeons
like
and Daddies?
things you find on the ground? I'm so
No.
sorry.
Oh my god.
Dungeons and
It's not
Daddies, he does
copyrighted.
that.
They can't copyright rock.
They can't copyright.
Yeah.
Also,
rock.
Sam, I don't know if
Rock.
I've mentioned this, but I love your haircut.
Right?
Looks great.
Literally, they got it cut, and all of us were like, "Oh my god, that's your haircut!" Like that's how
welcome.
it should have been the whole time. Oh
Yeah,
my god, holy
this is
shit!
Everybody's reaction.
Yes. So good. Okay, I'm
Thank
sorry.
you.
We're focused. We're ready. Don't do that.
Okay, moving on. Now that we've spent 40 minutes recording, let's finally talk about the episode.
Jesus.
All right, now that we're all caught up, it's time for this week's hunt. Today we are pulling up to Season 7, Episode 14, Plucky Pennywhistles' Magical Menagerie, through the theme of Strangeness.
Ooh, what a good theme for this episode.
It's a great theme.
Where do we want to start with this episode? I thought it was really, honestly, compared to last episode, it was pretty great. I like this one a lot.
It's equally inconsequential to like the larger plot, but in a much more fun way.
Yeah, with a lot more character work too.
Yeah.
Yes. Actually meaningful character work too that's actually connected to their like larger plots rather than like let's give Dean a kid and immediately kill that kid off and have it not matter. Like this is much.
Yes, I appreciate that they addressed that.
Yeah, like they mentioned it a couple of times throughout the episode. Like they're still looking for the Amazons.
Fresh.
And Dean taking the whole stance about like no more bars, no more hot chicks. Like I'm going celibate.
And then immediately is like, I'll take the nanny.
Take the naughty man, like my guy.
Okay.
But like, come on, why are we like
reinforcing that when we've just
are we doing the hot nanny thing?
Mm-hmm.
Writers, be back.
Please.
Writers, why? I do want to point out right from the beginning of the episode, after they go to the first like victim and Sam says I think it's Sam that says, one of them says, I think it's Sam, says that's weird even for us. Shouldn't be in their vocabulary anymore.
Nope.
Because that's just not true.
They say that all the
nothing
time.
Nothing is too weird for nothing is too weird for their lives at this point. That's not a real phrase. That makes zero sense
by now.
If it's super fucking weird, they should assume it absolutely is for them.
Also,
clearly,
I very much love Frank like calling a payphone and then requiring them to give him a passcode after that. Like that wasn't already enough. Like I knew where you were at and you're at this specific payphone and I'll call you and then still give me the passphrase.
Literally see them answer.
And then being like, yeah, I got nothing. Like, okay,
Frank is so used to
it. Thanks so much.
But Dean's face after Sam says, oh, okay, so we got dick on dick, huh? And Dean like thinks about it and envisions it and like does like a little eyebrow like, huh. Anyway, that was vivid. Yeah, I'm straight.
So straight. See, that's where then when they're he's like, no women. Actually, never mind.
Like the thing with the ball washer too.
And Sam making him say it 3 times. So good.
And then he does the same flustered thing he's done other times when men have either flirted with him or when there's been a gay vibe or a gay implication and he's done the I'm annoyed and embarrassed and bristly about it. It's the same thing he does after Sam makes him say that 3 times.
I thought Sam made him say it.
No,
I thought he made Sam
say it. That's what I mean. After
I said it wrong in my saying. I
just repeated.
I was just gonna say, I wrote it down because I was like, I fucking love his sibling moment, and it's also so fucking wild.
So good. I also really like how polite Sam is to the employees at Plucky Pennywhistles. At first, obviously, before he goes bad cop, but he specifically is like, hey, do me a favor, would you get the manager out here? Like he's so like considerate of people just doing their jobs. And he's like, I don't need to be rude about any of this. It's fine. And then he's like, oh, I'm gonna be hard cop. You fucking suck. Like I'm gonna take you down.
I feel like he really enjoyed that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Samager letting that sort of part of him come out. Maybe
it's a bit of therapy for him.
Yeah. It also seemed like Jared enjoyed it too.
Yeah.
He's gonna go ham on that acting.
He's never like that with people.
No.
Like he's always like Dean can be like that with people, but Sam is always the like more professional one. And he's like, oh, this is actually
and we're even keel
strategy now that I can do. It's not me like my emotions getting over me. Like this is intentional.
Yeah, he's playing it out. It's an act. It's a performance.
Yeah.
Which I think it kind of like reminded me of when he played Lucifer, like when Lucifer took him over and whenever he was soulless, like both of those had similar vibes to this, but this one felt more of an act rather than like, I'm just slimy now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was different.
It still
I
feels
enjoyed
like
that.
him as a character. It's definitely still him as a character.
Yeah.
He's still got his quirks. It's just this like extra element to it.
Yep.
Yeah. I do like the to kind of turn a little. I like the framing of this episode. I like the back and forth timeline. Like it's simple. It's nothing flashy, but it's fun.
Yeah. No, I liked that a lot.
Like it doesn't really, you kind of know what's going on regardless. It doesn't really like help you figure it out in any way, but it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. It means we get to see that the scene with Sam kind of play out in probably the most entertaining way it could.
And I do appreciate that whenever they catch you, like whenever they're right friggin' now, they don't harp on it as much as they did in the flashbacks. They like kind of speed it up and deal with it because you already saw it. We're just gonna do flashes of it. And then
It's like we're gonna show you the setup of where this happened and like how it got here. And then, oh, we seen this, and then and we're done.
Yeah.
And Sam's covered in glitter.
Which I kind of hate whenever shows do that. And when they do it and they show all the stuff you've already seen before again in the same time frame. And it's like, okay, we saw that. We know that. I'm sorry. Why are you wasting some of your limited screen time, especially if it's network TV? Like, come on, let's go. Move along, please.
Let's get it.
I mean, I guess it is kind to the people who show up to watching it late. You get there halfway through the episode, you're like, fuck, I missed most of it. You turn on the TV and it's like, oh, and here's flashbacks to what is happening right now. And you're like, oh, I'm caught up. Okay.
I had not considered that. That's funny.
Yeah.
They're appealing to the late crowd. I like that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank God.
There were a few moments in this episode that harkened me back to a completely different show that I'm a huge fan of, and a new podcast also that Theo and I are both on. Hey, if you haven't heard about it yet, it's Observing the Archives. We go back through all of the Magnus archives and the Magnus Protocol, but there were quite a few lines in this episode that really made me think about that. Like when they say if these fears run wild, it affects kids into adulthood. Like, okay. Magnus Archives, spoiler alert, is all about the fears of everyone becoming powerful and like taking shit from you. And then later on, they say there's power in the fear. Okay, Jonah Magnus, like, what the fuck? Like, what?
That haunted me.
It haunted me. It was very good. And I would love to envision an alternate reality where Dean is Jonathan Sims. Actually, it'd probably be Sam. God. Let's be real. Sam would be Jonathan. And then Dean he'd probably be Tim. Fuck.
I was going to say Tim.
I hate that. That hurts a lot, but he would probably be Tim.
But then he wouldn't die because in that case, John would, like, the archivist would care more about.
Well, assume they're not brothers.
Oh, well, then who knows?
But if they are still brothers in that universe, then yeah, he probably would. He would fight a little bit harder. But Tim made his choices. Anyway, this isn't about that, but it really reminded me a lot of that series and that saga.
Yeah, and has I don't remember all of Supernatural. My apologies, listeners. But have they played around with any like fear being manifested? Like I know demons and spirit like ghosts, but have they specifically played with like fear as an
entity?
Well, in season 4 we had Yellow Fever, which was an episode that dealt with like a sort of fear uncontrollably growing until eventually it kills you. Like that was the whole premise of that episode. So it's not like a physical manifestation, but it was sort of
it had that
similar.
Power. I'm thinking real hard about some nightmares that we heard about right at the start of this podcast episode.
It's almost like that was a good question to ask this episode, Sam. Good job.
Nice.
Fuck. We're about to get haunted.
All right.
Yeah. This episode takes place in Kansas. So like we're near their hometown as well. Like the episode takes place in Wichita. Is the location. Which is like it's close by to where they are from. And I think that's also interesting. It makes sense as to why it's
childhood.
Yes, it's close to their childhood.
Damn. Okay. I like that a lot.
So would Pluckies be a franchise or would Sam have been dropped off at this exact one?
They say it's like a chain.
It's and they didn't move. They moved around. Like by the time Sam would have been old, like by the time that would have been happening, they were on the road, like moving around pretty regularly. They weren't in Kansas anymore.
Dorothy, Toto. Sorry, she says to Toto.
I did say it, and then I heard it.
I also wanted to point out that when Sam is interviewing people in the break room, up behind him, there's the dress code for the employees. And it has 3 different categories. You don't see, there's for men, for women, and I couldn't see the descriptor for the other one. I can hope that it's non-binary, but...
No. We need to come up with what it is.
It's definitely
clowns.
What it is
shit. It's for clowns.
For clowns.
Yeah,
which,
okay.
I
just want to clarify that we, on this podcast, are not comparing non-binary people to clowns. That's not what we are doing. Hana is.
I did almost say, same. And then I stopped myself. But if we're going there, let's just go there. Those are the 3 genders. Man, woman, and clown.
That's right.
Fuck.
Sorry, Kira's hearing this like with 0 context.
I
laugh.
Just half of the conversation.
Which is fair.
There's
a whole. I would wish I could say context would help you, Kira, but I'm not sure that it would.
It probably wouldn't.
Hear me out. This whole conversation about like embracing cringe, right? Like in living authentically, you just have to embrace being cringe and stop worrying about what other people think about you. Clownery. Clownery. Kind of clown of you. You embrace your authentic self. You are authentically living outside heteronormative gender norms, aren't you not?
It's
Are
only
we not all clown?
I may be clown, but I am free.
Okay, that might be the title.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. It's going to be the title. The kids, I've heard several conversations from students about cringe recently, and it's always extremely funny because it's like 4th graders debating what cringe means.
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
It's so bad. And every time I'm like, this is not a conversation I need to be a part of. Right now, it's a kid conversation that they're having that's developmentally appropriate. I do every time listen and I go, yeah, interesting. This is interesting. It's interesting how you're because usually one kid kid being like they don't really have a definition. It's just someone will call something cringe and then another kid will be like, no, that's not cringe. Like I know what cringe is, and then they proceed to not define it and just it's pretty funny.
But like, what are the stuff you hear? Because like we gotta
know.
Yeah, we need to know.
You're plugged into the youth.
You are plugged into the youth connection here.
They're like 9.
That's youth.
They are technically youth. It's funny because there's this whole sense of like the idea of like sort of being not just genuine, but like kind of going all in, sort of that idea of like
putting effort forth
and like caring. And there's some sense of like, ooh, it's cringe to like
try.
Yeah, a little bit of that. No. And then sometimes it's just like it's just the silly, because again, they're not middle schoolers or high schoolers, they're like 9-year-olds
on the verge.
So often it's just like it's like kind of becomes a catch-all for like, I think that's silly or that's not my thing. And so they're like, that's cringe. And you're like, no.
Okay.
Cringe is a moving target.
Cringe is a moving target. It's a definition of someone else's strangeness, right? Like this still is also deeply on theme, but like act like living up it being cringe is just being strange.
Yes. And the kids do seem even at like 9 to sort of understand that, which is why they end up arguing about it, because one kid will be like, that's cringe, and another kid will be like, no, that's not, because it's not in their personal definition of cringe.
Yeah.
Strange to them. They're like, no, this other thing is cringe.
The cringe collective.
Cringe is relative.
Yeah. It usually comes up when like we're like watching like a YouTube video or like watching a music video or watching like, like I think I was showing them like Claymation, and one kid was like, that's cringe, and then the other half of them were like super into it, and I was like, it really is like very specific, and I've never able to predict it.
Real.
Like I'll be doing something that I'll be like whatever, or something that they'll think is cringe, they'll be like, no, we like, they're so into it, and then something that I'll be like, something that I'm like, I think this is cool, and I don't think I'm off the mark, and I'll have a kid be like, that's so cringe, and I'm like, I don't understand you. I love you, but I don't understand you.
What claymation did you show them?
I don't remember. It was some little, like, it was like during our like snack eating time. So it was like, I showed them a Wallace and Gromit one. That one wasn't the one they made the cringe comment about. They made a cringe comment about, I think, one that was like, it was like animal. It was, there were animals and they were, no, it wasn't like a known, it was like.
That's pretty cool. I don't know how they're saying that's cringe.
I thought it was funny. It was these animals. They were like kind of like mockumentary talking about being in a zoo. But the claymation was cute, and I thought it was fun. But
awesome.
Yeah, please do find that and send it to us.
I will find it.
Sounds really cool.
I will find it. I will find it.
But sorry, back to the thing on the boards.
Hana made a really good thing about that.
What the employees can't wear, present.
Oh, yeah.
It said men, no mustaches, and I felt personally attacked.
It was about you. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't pay attention to that.
I saw it because
mustaches.
it says mustaches, and I just pay attention to when it says mustache and anything.
No mustaches.
Which okay, maybe that's
that's rude.
a pedophile joke, which
Probably.
Oh.
Supernatural. Yeah, definitely. Yep.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Because there are
absolutely.
plenty of mustaches out there that aren't.
Does it say goatee? Does it mention goatee?
I didn't see that because I don't have one, but
What?
I don't give a shit.
I only pay attention to things that apply to me.
I only look at mustaches.
I'm gonna try and go back and find a scene where I can see it and hold it up.
Do you guys know this? Has anyone else here seen cringe movie A Million Ways to Die in the West?
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
The song If You've Only Got a Mustache has lived rent free in my brain for, I shit you not, 10 years.
And it's even better because it's done by Neil Patrick Harris. So like, yeah, that's a big win.
Real.
Come on, show me. Okay, there's no mustache, no beard, no sideburns. I just glimpsed.
That would probably include goatee.
It's really hard because Sam keeps standing in front of it in the frame.
That's what I'm saying.
Trying to get a shot of it.
Right.
He's standing in front of that side of it. It's very dramatic watching this scene without any sound.
There's
so
a Reddit post about rules for working men. No mustaches, no beards, no sideburns, no punk style haircuts, no earrings or piercings, no tattoos.
But if you're a woman, you can have a punk style haircut. That's not
And a beard.
Oh, women, it says no nail polish, no perfume, no unnatural makeup, no earrings, no tattoos, no piercings.
So I would guess it's probably something to do with like allergens, because they're like, if you bring anything into the like restaurant, like kids will die and we will get sued. So like mustaches, I assume, would hold on to stuff.
I don't think
know.
It's also
like,
some appearance stuff of like you got to be respectful for the parents.
And like this is like 2012.
Yeah.
Like the no tattoos, no piercings sort of check. And the no unnatural like and like hair dye and things like that. Like 2012, working in a place with children.
Yeah, that was very like, oh, you in order to be professional, you can't have
Even
any of
when I got my first tattoo, which was like fully almost 10 years ago, I remember there being conversations because I worked with children. There being conversations about like, oh, you got to be careful like what tattoos you get.
Oh, same, yeah.
Or like will affect your employment. You like might want to make sure you get stuff where you can like hide them if you need to, which is like hilarious because I am a public school teacher and I just keep getting tattoos and like I wouldn't get like a cuss word like invisible place for work, but like I wouldn't have done that anyway. Nobody literally gives a shit. It's very funny how much things have changed in 10 years.
Yeah. It's like once the younger generations are put into power positions, things change. Huh, isn't that
there's
weird?
Just too many of us with tattoos. What are they gonna do? Not employ any of us?
Good luck with that.
Okay, can we talk about the slinky?
Yeah.
What?
The slinky.
Slinky.
Yeah. Oh, the slinky.
It's the most. It's very sweet.
So sweet.
We have not seen Dean happy all season. This is the happiest we've seen him all season.
Well, even since last season, like beginning of last season, because once he finds out Sam is alive, he gets happy.
And then
again.
everything with Ben and Lisa, like it's been a rough go.
It's been a terrible time for him.
He is just thoroughly he's just so excited about a little slinky fidget.
Yeah.
And it's the way that
and the way that like Sam just like lets him have it and is also just like, yeah, laugh at me, have your moment,
come on,
have your little joy,
give it to me. And I think part of that is because he knows how fucked up Dean is about Cass.
Yeah, he's like,
about Bobby.
He needs a little laugh.
He needs that moment.
Well, and literally,
and Sam recognizes how ridiculous it is that he's covered in glitter, having just not killed, but like survived being attacked by these two psycho clowns. Like, yeah, it's a silly moment for them in their hunting life. And he's like, yeah, this is ridiculous. Come on, let's hear it all. I know it's percolating up there. Let's go.
It's also just like very like I think about like what happened like literally the end of last episode where Sam like said to Dean like you need to try and figure out how to like survive this like depressive episode you are in. And he's like, you got to figure it out. And Dean's like, we'll see. Like I think that Sam's like leaning into this small piece of joy that Dean has found is sort of the only like thing he knows how to do. And he's like, okay, like there's something something that can make him happy for a minute, which will maybe make him more likely to like not do something reckless that will get himself killed. Like,
That's so fucking
he's like,
cute.
I'm gonna remember the slinky. Like, I'm gonna remember the slinky. I'm gonna steal the slinky. I'm gonna let him make fun of me for clowns.
Which,
like,
I think that the fact that Sam shows up to Plucky Pennywhistles already having the slinky, that means that he stole it way earlier in the episode, right?
True.
He stole it, getting it for Dean, knowing that it would be a good, bow at the end of this case. He said, I'm going to put it in my car, because he shows up with all the glitter on. Like, he is clearly coming from the clown situation.
Town.
Yeah.
Clown Town? Sorry? Okay, thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Straight from Clown Town.
I'm realizing we missed a really funny scene just because of where we are in the plot, because like right now they're not driving the Impala because they're having to be really careful about who knows where they are. We missed a really funny scene of them going back to the Impala and it being covered in glitter.
Oh, yes.
And Dean losing his shit about the Impala being covered. Like, we missed them making jokes 4 episodes later about finding glitter in the car.
Nightmare.
Dean would have been like, you are not getting in this car like that. Like, what's that? Shake that shit off, take a shower, wash those clothes.
Dean being like, you're walking back to the motel. I'm not driving you. Find your own way back. It's a fun sibling. It's a very fun episode about their dynamic, and even like the stuff that we get that looks back to like their childhood is very sweet.
Yeah, and the moment at the end in the car where
God,
because they're making jokes about how like Dean dropped Sam off as a kid and just like left him there in this traumatizing place for him, and then he like acknowledges it at the end, and he's like, "Yeah, sorry, I dumped you those places."
He specifically says, "I'm sorry for psychologically scarring you."
Yeah.
That's the most emotional maturity that we've gotten from Dean in maybe 2 full seasons. Like,
yeah.
Does he back it up with a joke? Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
But that's
what Dean is.
We've got to accept what we can get with him.
It still felt genuine.
Sam knows that.
Totally genuine.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was real. It was Dean speaking from his core. And
it's sort of like, again, if we're talking about like strangeness, like they have a strange sort of relationship. They have an offbeat sort of relationship as siblings because of everything that they've been through. And they're making it work. And like last episode, we saw that strangeness being really bad for them. Like their inability to communicate. Because of everything getting in the way. This episode, we see it actually being like kind of a strength of theirs, like the ability to sort of be like,
and it's being like bringing them together.
And Sam's making jokes.
Been really separate recently.
Sam's being like, "Oh, I got to kill my fears," literally. Like that's kind of fun. Like,
I really like the way as they first come to Plucky Pennywhistles or after like Sam has been there and they both come back together and Sam's like, I'm gonna go do the bad cop thing, and Dean, like the older brother who's usually like so proactive in doing things, is like, and what do I do? Sam's like, I don't know, wait. And Dean just like piddles around and then doesn't want to really play games and then instead chooses to like steal another kid's tickets and like get like it's really cool to sometimes see the sides of Dean and Sam where they are kind of shifting that like sibling dynamic, and Sam is taking the lead and doing the things, and Dean is also there and doing things, but also like, so what do you want me to do? Like, it was so fun.
And then when he and Tyler both call that other kid a jackass at the same time, like that was good. It was cute.
Dean bonding with Tyler was really cute.
It was so cute.
Yeah, it's like
anytime we get Dean with kids.
Yep.
They make so many jokes about like across the series about like Sam will make jokes about like Dean not knowing what to do with children, and then consistently when Dean is around a like child that is experiencing some like challenge or trauma, like Dean has this inexplicable way of like sort of connecting and finding a way to like see that kid and like understand what they're experiencing. And like in this scenario, he also like shows this compassion for this kid's mom and is like, it's really sweet. And like
it's a real big oldest sibling type of move who may have been pushed into parenting type of techniques before they were ready for it or asked for it or any sort of thing. So I'm just going to take a second and say, Hannah Beth, we see you, we support you, we salute you.
Don't make me tear up on the podcast, guys.
You're like,
damn, my street rep, it's going downhill. I can feel it. It does get me. I feel like Dean is so hard on himself. Like, it's interesting to see that he doesn't feel like he needed that. It's very rare, if ever, that he's ever sort of indicated that, like, okay, yeah, I was fucked up as a kid. That shit sucked. That was awful. I didn't deserve that. Someone should have been kind to me. Someone should have taken, I feel like I've actually joked about this several times in this episode in relation to us. Like, again, going back to our fears at the beginning, someone go back and give that kid a hug, but also, damn, someone go back and take some responsibility off that kid's shoulders. And like, Dean doesn't really sit down and be like, someone should have taken that off my shoulders. He's just hard on himself. But it's very clear in the way he interacts with kids and like with kids' parents that the kindness and the thought he's extending to them is what he needed. Like, clearly
absolutely.
He feels it and is giving them that, even if he doesn't think he deserves it.
Can I make it worse? Can I make it worse?
Jesus.
Always.
As all of you are talking through this scene, I'm like, I actually think that this is probably, and it would be in character for this to be another situation where Sam thinks something about their childhood that is actually not true because Dean has kept it from him. And I don't think Dean is dropping Sam off so he can go pick up chicks. I think Dean is dropping Sam off so that he can go and
so that
he's doing it so that he can go and
he's doing it so that Sam isn't hunting.
Yeah.
And so that Sam isn't hungry. No, I'm not even talking about hunting. I'm talking about him doing it so that Sam isn't hungry. Because he has said that before. He will talk about that later in the show. He will talk about we know that he has like stolen food before.
Yeah.
Like that's, so I think that the chances that he, on times when John left them both in a random town, Dean is dropping Sam off at a place he thinks will be fun for a kid. He's like, it'll be fun. It's a kid place. You'll be safe there.
Other parents are going to take care of you. Like, parents are going to see a kid on their own and be like, oh my God.
Yeah. So you're safe and I can go and hustle pool or turn tricks or whatever I need to do to provide for us.
Sell himself.
Yeah. Well, that's the turning tricks is something that Jensen has talked about, a headcanon of his that was a reality for Dean as a teenager. So that's like and it's also, there's like fair amount of textual evidence that would lead to that conclusion. I think that's probably what is happening here. And so that also makes Dean's like apology to Sam even a little more heartbreaking because he's like not still to this day not telling like he doesn't want to. He'd rather have Sam think he sort of like ditched him than have Sam understand the full weight of the responsibility that he had.
Yeah, fine. You made it worse.
You're welcome. But again, it makes this whole episode sort of, again, sweeter. Like, it makes the stuff he's doing with this kid and like the way he's bonding with this kid sweeter. And also the way he gives perspective for this kid about their mom. Like, I think he's actually reflecting on his own, like, your parent is doing the best they can and they need your understanding. And I think that's sort of, whether he knows it or not, that's sort of about like him being like, Sam, I was doing the best I could.
And then it does make the apology and the slinky even more powerful at the end. Jesus.
Because Sam's seeing it. Because it's Sam seeing
letting
him
joke about it because like, fuck.
There's a lot of like unspoken acknowledgement between the two of them.
Yeah.
About their childhood. And it's really nice.
In a way we don't usually get because usually there's too much John in the way.
Recently.
Yeah. Usually their memories of John get in the way of them like actually talking about their childhood in a way that is like productive. And this is nice because it doesn't have anything to do with John. It's just actually, I mean, it does, but it doesn't.
It does directly. Because it doesn't.
Yeah. I have one more note, but it's a silly one. And it's that doing the ball pit scene with the Jaws sort of vibe was very funny.
That was very funny.
It was very funny.
Like how Dean talks about Jaws, Shark Week, man. Whole week.
Watch that.
Like he's so happy. He's like, that was funny.
So happy. The only other note I have, the note about Dean poking fun at Sam, I think like halfway through the episode and being like, or maybe like a quarter. He's like, like you'll be fine. It's just clowns. Like if it bleeds, you can kill it. And we get like within one of the first or second like flash forwards, essentially, we hear Sam say that, like facing these clowns, and then immediately like his gun just shoots confetti, which I think is hilarious. But it feels a lot like Sam is really scared of clowns, but he is also scared of not being able to fight back because that's when it actually got seriously like scared for him.
Powerlessness, which is like a theme with Sam, like not having power, not having control.
Absolutely. That's a really good point, Theo.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Hate that.
And I like that he gets to face that fear in a tangible way in this episode and like feel validated, but still feel validated in the fact that it is.
Good.
August having, with that silly note, that really reminds me right here at the end that I've got a mixtape suggestion for this episode, and it's kind of silly, but it's Don't Be Sad by Scotty Sire, which was a really fun song and kind of leans into how Dean is handling this whole situation with like the whole like, hey, you know what? Just don't be sad. Have you ever thought about that?
Consider don't.
And part of the chorus is like, oh, wow. Okay, cool. I never thought about that. Well, guess what? I'm fucking cured. Thanks, bud. Like, no, it's not that easy. And sometimes we need to fight through our stuff. So maybe it's more about Sam, but you know what? I picked it because of Dean. So I'm going to stick with that.
All right. Okay. All right.
I have one. You can decide in the edit which version of this you'd like to include. A while back, I was giving my partner a massage, and I wanted it to be very cool and professional. And so I searched on Spotify an aquascape playlist. Right, I've got the lighting. I want the background like.
You didn't just pick the soundtrack from Endless Ocean?
That Jesus no. And I found this one, and it's titled Aquascape, and it's got this like little plant, like an aquarium plant on it, and it says Aquascape, and it's got 2 plant emojis in the title, and it's wow, that seems really promising, right?
It's got to be a sex thing.
No, there are some songs on there that I'm like, oh, this is kind of Aquascape-y, and then some of them sound like you're a gladiator.
Oh, fuck yes!
It's not generally the vibe when you're having a massage,
and then some of them sound like you're on a carousel at a circus or like at a fair.
That seems appropriate for this
and
episode.
Some of them felt a little metallic rock adjacent.
So they didn't know what genre they were going for.
I have no fucking clue what was going on in the head of the person who made this.
Are stacked.
Stacked and they fucking
jacked ass motherfucking fish.
And the thing is like, imagine it's late at night and you're really stressed out and you're trying, like, you are getting like a really nice massage from your partner whom you love, and it's like the lighting is so nice. You guys talked about really emotional things, and like your body's just being so taken care of. And suddenly the music is like, bop, bop, ba, da, da, and you're like, sorry, can we skip this song? And we skip that song, and the next song is like, boom, 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 boom. And you're like, okay, and maybe the next song also. And at a certain point, you're just having like the weirdest. You're committed to this playlist. You're emotionally attached to this playlist, but like the massage is getting weird.
Yeah,
you're having to get like really forceful in the shoulders, and you're like, oh, sorry, the music told me.
That unironically was one of the problems that we're having. Is her body is very sensitive, and I am a hefty person and move really heavy, and I kept getting distracted by how weird the music was and how heavy the music was. And she was like, "Can you please go lighter?" And I was like, "Absolutely, yeah." And I like lighten up, and the next song would be Gladiator, and I'm like, really getting in the muscles. Anyway, you can keep as much of that or as little as that you want. I know we're heading out towards like a really long episode. If we want
these are
one song, the one song that I would pull is Le Carnaval de Animaux by Camille Saint-Jean. I do not care if I pronounced the French correctly. Get fucked, French people. But it is some like jaunty French carnival music that I felt was appropriate.
Okay, shit.
Anyway, the playlist is Aquascape, 2 plant emojis by Jacob Flores Maldonado on Spotify.
And thanks, sorry, everyone. Who was the song by one more time?
Camille Saint-Saëns. It's SAE with an umlaut and S.
Excited to go and listen to this playlist.
It's a trip.
Theo, do you have a mixtape for us?
I do. So the song I chose today is by an artist I cannot stop listening to, by the name of Jaria, I believe. I think it's Jaria. It could be Jahara. I'm not sure, but I adore him and his music. But the song is called Promises. And I see it really as like the leading dark force behind this episode of just like, you will rue the day that you made us feel this way, and I'm gonna keep my promises, will you keep yours, and like, you can't run forever, kind of like intense.
Ooh.
I don't know. I was looking over the lyrics and I was like, shit, this feels really like I'm gonna kill you with your fears and you just have to suffer for it.
It's a good, it's good choice.
Yeah.
I am gonna go with a serious kind of song that I don't think I would have chosen until we had our kind of whole conversation about like Sam and Dean's relationship and the way that they're like caring for each other as siblings in this episode. And so the song I've chose is called Doing the Best We Can by John Lucas. It's sort of like you have like it's sort of this idea of doing, I mean it's right in the title, like the idea of like what is it like to be, you know, still standing, doing the best we can, like with everything, you know, when we're stumbling, when you're struggling, when things are hard. You know, the first two lines are like, man, this year is taking the life out of me, or maybe it's been the last two or three. I'm still standing, doing the best I can. Like it's meant to be I think a romantic song, but the lyrics really work for, I think, any kind of like relationship that is sort of experiencing this, and I think it's quite fitting for this episode.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's a really pretty song.
Wow, lovely.
Just to go serious in this extremely silly episode.
Yeah, we started serious, we end serious.
Yeah. Well, mine's not serious.
So we started serious and we'll end real silly.
Yeah. The song I picked is Funhouse by Pink. And I just mainly liked the like vibe of the song. It felt like it matched the kind of like the upbeat kind of strange goofiness of this episode. And not all the lyrics like really connect specifically to the episode, but there's like some lyrics that are like, this used to be a fun house, but now it's full of evil clowns.
True.
But I like the beat of it. It felt like it matched.
Oh yeah. Like it matched the unicorn stabbing a guy through a wall with the rainbow butt.
Yeah.
That really got me.
Which we didn't talk about enough in this episode.
We did not.
That's okay.
I had to mention it.
Yes, I'm proud of you.
Good. I'm glad you did.
Good pick.
Well, now that we are wrapping up, it is time for our final and some say favorite section of the episode, our character blessings. Does anyone have someone off the bat that they would like to bless in this episode?
Okay, unpopular opinion. Bad opinion? I'm blessing Howard as he died.
Oh.
Real.
I cannot imagine the guilt.
Yeah, it really sucks. Like it's really shitty. It's really shitty.
Yeah.
End to the story.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we talked about good sibling. We talked about the positive sibling pair, but like,
we didn't get to talk about that either.
Yeah. Like, not excusing the actions, all the rest of the shit. Like, you fucked up other people's lives and the result of this.
Right. There's a lot of trauma there.
Right. And all of us siblings sitting on the sibling episode, and this man who's like, the guilt over the death of his sibling is what drove him to like this further cruelty and an attempt to escape and like atone for that. Damn.
And
that would drive
contrast
me insane too. Yeah.
Like the contrast between that story and Sam and Dean, for all that they've been through, they're both still there and they're both still like in each other's corner. And like this, like Howard never got that because
Yeah.
So I think that, just what a horrific way to go, like haunted right to the end by that. But I bless him and whatever comes next. Yeah.
Yeah. Love that.
I want to send my blessing to, what was the kid's name? Timothy?
Tyler.
I want to send it to Tyler because, like, not only is it hard being that kid, but, like, for him to actually listen to Dean and then look back to Dean as, you know, his mom is really frazzled and exhausted and tired and trying to leave. And he looks at Dean and Dean just, like, gives him a look and Tyler just nods and he says, I'm sorry, Mom. Like, you can see, like, obviously it's not going to fix everything, but, like, he knows that giving that little bit of relief, not fighting back against something that is going to happen, like he understands that, and I think that's a really good move, you know, from Dean, but like Tyler carrying it through, bless him.
Yeah, amazing. Noah?
Well, I am going to bless Dean this episode. Sorry, August, deal with it.
That's really fine.
I love the way that he comes into it and the way that he leaves it, and him getting to have a moment where he gets to be his silly self and go for the slinky that he wants and play some skee ball while Sam's doing the hard work of interrogation. It was very good and it was well deserved, and I loved to be able to see that.
I want to bless Tyler's mom.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't know everything that almost happened, but her and her kid are going to be okay. And she is, clearly loves her kid and is doing her best with what seems very challenging. And yeah, we just hope that eventually she will get to rest and enjoy her time with her kid and enjoy and not feel like she's so overwhelmed with everything. And she's like, and I'm just happy she survived this episode. Like often the end of a supernatural episode ends with like the kid, Sam and Dean consoling a kid who's like lost a parent, and it's nice that this one ends with not that.
Not a robot kaiju.
Get to live their lives now.
Yeah, and they won't ever know.
Yeah. Well, that leaves me with my favorite person to bless. I'm gonna bless Sam. Yeah, he's as funny as it is to watch him be terrified of the clowns. It's very real for him.
Yeah.
But I think he handles it well and really seems to like be there for Dean and is kind of like holding the team in this episode. And yeah, want to bless him for that.
Yeah, I love that.
Well
Some
blessed.
good ass blessings today, guys.
Yeah. Well, that is all for today. Thank you all. This has been so fun. I love these episodes.
They're some of the most fun. Thanks, Theo. Thanks, Hannah. We love you guys. Come on anytime, please.
Yeah.
Share
absolutely.
more childhood trauma. Maybe we get a bonus episode where we just talk about growing up conservative and
Ooh, that'd be juicy.
be juicy as hell. Our mom can't listen to that one.
I was gonna say growing up as like mommy blogger kids. Talking about mom on the podcast feels like turning the tables in a way that would send her to the moon.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't say that too loud, given our dad just listened to an episode for the first time, but I doubt he's going to be repeating that.
Yeah.
Will not.
I'm sorry. Back up.
Oh yeah, you weren't here for that. Sorry. Hey, listeners at home, Theo, Hannah, and I's dad just listened to one episode. He's never listened to an episode of the podcast before, but he decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to listen to the podcast Noah's on. Let's give it a try. You want to know what episode he picked, August?
What did he listen to?
Do you want to know which episode he picked?
Do I
The
want to
most
know?
recent one.
The one that has my
recent
name
one
in the title, Noah's Pain, which is episode 710, Bobby's fucking death.
Wow, you were a hot mess for that episode.
That's a hot mess.
Yeah.
And he knows what my voice sounds like right after I cry. So he was like, the only thing he told
Are you
Theo was
okay?
like, oh, Noah was upset about some character. And it had too many F-bombs, so I turned it off.
I said, Dad, was he upset about Bobby? He said, I don't know, some guy.
Dad,
So funny.
if somehow you made it to this episode, I love you and I thank you for the listens. But
Yes.
It's funny with the parallel of mom stopping into the podcast recording and saying she doesn't trust Bobby just because she doesn't know anything.
Like that one time.
Yeah.
Okay, so the real question is, when do we get Dad on the podcast?
Oh my God. Can
Never.
you imagine a man who would have a worse time?
I might have to draw the line at parents. I'm like, siblings are cool. I'm gonna have to draw the line.
Yeah.
At like
Just for the opener, just for like the first 3 minutes.
No, that's elder abuse right there.
That man told me I was going to hell for pretending to be a vampire once. Like, he would not survive. He would not.
If he couldn't listen to the F-bombs, I'm not sure that
Yeah.
Okay, so we have to do it the same way Mom made it on, where they can only hear what Theo is saying and none of the rest of us are in their ear.
I'll be the conduit.
Yeah. Shit. Well, anyway, speaking on that, make sure everyone out there make sure you're subscribed to Saving People Queering Things wherever you listen to podcasts. Share our show with your friends or your dads. Hey, who knows? You can also join our free Discord server. You can find links to our socials. You can catch up on the latest season mixtapes, and that's all on our website, queeringthingspodcast.com.
As well, if you like listening to us or if you like Dungeons and Dragons, we are in the middle of a really wonderful campaign run by Noah that is this queer D&D adjacent adventure, and that is also releasing right on this same feed a couple of weeks.
Be sure to ride along next week as we explore season 7, episode 15, Repo Man, through the theme of delusion.
And we'll have a brand new guest on that episode, so make sure to tune in.
Oh yeah, we do have a new guest on that episode. Elena's going to be back for that episode. With a special guest.
Ooh. No spoilers.
TBD.
I wonder who it is.
TBD. Come show up and find out.
Thank you all for coming along for the ride, and we wish you a peaceful road until we meet again.